What's here, y'all? Well, let's continue on with our Belmont Stakes contender profiles. They have drawn the field today, and Sovereignty is his second choice at 2-1, which is a little bit of a surprise for the Kentucky Derby winner. He's got post number 2, and we'll talk about him right now. He's trained by Belmont, the Hall of Famer, Junior Alvarado in the irons. Hasn't really done a thing wrong this year, and is now fresh coming into the Belmont. Now that we've got rain in the forecast, just like in the Derby, things are looking pretty good for the Derby winner. We'll take a look at the pedigree just as review. Into Mischief, doesn't normally necessarily say mile and a quarter, but his dam certainly does, crowned being by Bernardini, and obviously he can get the distance because he did win the Derby. But do note the Conduit Mare profile is a little skewed towards speed. But again, I think that's, basically really nitpicking when you consider how forcefully he won the Derby, and he's clearly a two-turn horse, so distance is really not something we're going to worry about here. Let's take a look at the running lines, and one thing you can say uh, is that obviously he has progressed very well. You see uh, from his maiden race to the Florida Derby, you see, even the Kentucky Derby, you see that steady progression in class rating as the race rating increases. And I've harped on it every year. I try to bring that up. Is that that's really something that when you get a horse doing that, you've got something special because they're running against themselves, not against the field. Getting a 125 in the Kentucky Derby, that's one of the highest class ratings I've ever seen. Usually, that is the highest, as a matter of fact. I can't recall anything higher than that. So, ran a stellar Kentucky Derby and continued on with his progression. One little thing, it was the first 100 uh, Brisnet number he had run, and it was a fair amount higher than the 99 he registered in the Fountain of Youth. So there's a little bit of, regression is a little something, not a lot, but it's a little something to think about. But he also has had plenty of time to recover from the Kentucky Derby. And if we know one thing about Belmont as a trainer, when he points horses to races, and when they run at their optimum, the best they can possibly run. And I think this is likely going to be the case for the Belmont. You see, he's run in Saratoga before, but it was his debut, and that was a pretty good maiden race, as a matter of fact, with Tip Top Thomas, Rookie Card, and Key Waden. That wasn't bad, but I don't know. We can really use that. At least we know he's run on the track, and he ran okay for his debut at a maiden. So I don't think that's going to be the issue. I don't think the distance is going to be an issue. Really, the only thing is it going to be his day again, or is it going to be journalism or Baeza? It's really a matter of those three. Now, the one thing you can say is perhaps Sovereignty will be at a little bit of a disadvantage because we don't have a lot of early speed in the race. Rodriguez will likely have the lead to himself. Really, Crudo is the only one I can see who would likely try to challenge, but I don't see that likely being so lightly raced. I think Todd Pletcher will likely try to rate him, but we'll see. In any event, he is the probably of the three, uh, journalism, Baeza being the other two. He seems to be the most pace dependent of the three of them. So, that's a little something to think about. And tactically, he may be at a little bit of a disadvantage as opposed to the others. Now, the other thing you can say is the Derby was third in the cycle, third off the layoff. So he clearly was pointed for that race. Uh, so you've got the aftermath of, now running in a race that he wasn't necessarily pointed for. But again, I have faith in Belmont, and I know that this horse is too good not to run a good race. Whether it's enough to win, I'm not so sure, given the fact that the scenario that we've got. But things are looking awful good, and I certainly think Sovereignty is without a doubt a prime win candidate. I'm just a little worried that he might be a little too far back. That's really all it is. But he obviously overcame it in the Derby, and journalism had the jump on him then. Maybe if Baeza had a little bit better trip, we might be talking about him. We'll see. But it's going to be one of those three. I have no doubt about it. And it's really going to be a hell of a Donnybrook in this race, in the slop. And, I in my journalism post, I talked about perhaps an Ali Frazier type of rematch here with Sovereignty and journalism. But hey, throw Baeza in there and as like the George Foreman in the early 70s, let's say. So this is really a three-headed monster. And Sovereignty is at the top of the class right now because he did win the Derby, I would say. But I think he's going to have his hands full. And the tables may be turned just by the nature of the race complexion and a smaller field where tactics are probably going to be as important as they are in the Derby but an easier trip for the horses up amongst the leaders. And if the pace is moderate to slow, that may compromise Sovereignty's chances. But I like him a lot in this spot, and it's going to be a hell of a race, and he's certainly going to be one of the top three without a doubt. Positives: pedigree, progression, won at the distance, class, all of that good stuff. We all know that. Negatives: talked about it, little pace dependent of the big three. I think he is certainly the one who needs something to run to. Whether or not Crudo will spice it up a little bit and maybe push Rodriguez so the pace is a little quicker than Honest, which I think it will be. I think it'll be Honest, but it might be a little quick. And if it is, that helps Sovereignty. But if it isn't, maybe that hurts him. The running style, coming from the back of the pack, I think he's probably going to be a little more forwardly placed. I would think he's got to be, and I think he's good enough that he can be. But it is something new, trying to get a little more involved in the race early. And we have seen late runners have problems with that. Red Route 1 from a couple years ago, Angel of Empire, who were awful good coming from the back, but when they tried to get up closer, it really sapped them. So that's really the only issue that I can see. Working out a trip, I mean, it's a smaller field than it is in the Derby. Junior Alvarado's a good jockey. He knows what he's doing. From the 2-hole, being a late runner, I mean, there's going to be a few back there with Hill Road and, they're so, I mean, it usually when you do have a Heart of Honor, you got a couple back there. I mean, it is about working out the trip, but I think he's good enough to do it. So, in sum, there are some concerns, but I think Sovereignty is awful good, and I think he's definitely one of the top three. Whether or not we put him on top remains to be seen. Have to look at the race a little different, but no reason, if you're on Sovereignty's bandwagon, I don't think there's any reason to get off it at this point. So, hope this analysis helps you with your own assessment, and we'll have our post on the Belmont coming up very shortly. I believe we've only got Uncaged to take a look at, and we will do so in the very near future. We will have a full card selections, best bets, value plays, all that for Saturday's card at Saratoga, and we'll also have the late pick 5 sequence as well. So plenty of content coming from Reddit to Wire, so stay tuned here. If you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks so much to all of you who continue to grow our community. That's it from here. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.